views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Good evening. I am Errol Schneer, Bronx Lebanon Hospital Center's Vice President of Planning, Marketing, and Public Relations, your co-host for tonight's Healthbeat television program. We welcome you, our many viewers, and as always, encourage you to continue participating in the program. And we promise to do our very best to keep you medically informed and healthy by discussing the topics that are of interest to you. You can also find out more information about Bronx Lebanon and our many community services online at our website, BronxCare.org. Tonight, my co-host, Dr. Milton Gums, Bronx Lebanon's Vice President and Medical Director, and I will be continuing our two-part series on the Community Health Worker Apprenticeship Program, now in place at Bronx Lebanon. Last week, we heard from the apprentices that were actually involved in this innovative program. Tonight, we will be hearing from some of the key individuals that planned and implemented it.
Let me now introduce our guest panelists. We welcome back Dr. Douglas Reach, Chairman Family Practice, the individual leading this most important project. And also joining us this evening is Rebecca Hall, Training and Director, Employment Funds, Assistant Director of the 1199 Fund, and Courtney Dower, Manager Apprenticeship Program. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, tonight we will be departing from our normal call-in format, but we still encourage you, our viewers, to use our website, BronxCare.org, for any questions you may have regarding the apprenticeship program. That's BronxCare.org. Now, Dr. Reach, last week we certainly had an animated and very informative discussion. Perhaps from your perspective, you can continue the discussion in terms of just what the program is all about and why is it unique.
Absolutely. And again, I want to thank you, Mr. Schneer, Dr. Gums, for having us here this week, back again to share a little bit more about the program. And what I thought I'd do is start off today picking up where the community health worker apprentices left off last week, and share with you and the audience, of course, a story that came to me just at the end of last week after we filmed. Right. One of our community health workers was relaying to us when we were having we do case management rounds, right, talking about particular patients, and so we were sitting around the table with the physicians and the community health workers, our social workers, and one of the CHWs related a story that was really quite moving, and really depicts and illustrates exactly what the CHWs and the apprentices are all about. I want to first say that apprentice shared with me when she first started in the program that she was born and raised in the Bronx, went to high school here, went to community college in the Bronx, and really wants to give back, and that's what she's all about. She started off in dietary, delivering food to the patients on the inpatient service. When she heard about this program, she said, "That's it, I can now give back." So she was, as we were discussing our patients, she talked about one of our patients that we've been following for years, kind of a difficult situation. The patient has a mental illness, schizophrenia, and he's from time to time homeless. And she talked about how she found out that indeed she was being followed in one of our health clinics. She reached out to him. She saw him on the street, and she reached out to him and now has facilitated him to come and get services within our clinic. She went on to say that she actually knew this individual when she attended elementary school, grammar school in the Bronx. And so she had this true personal connection. And even while she was delivering food as a dietary worker in our hospital, had seen him in the emergency room as well as being admitted. In a few short months that she's actually worked as a community health worker, apprentice, she reconnected with this individual and has gone further by ensuring that he actually keeps his appointments, not only with us, but also in primary care, but also in psychiatry and in cardiology, and has actually helped him find housing, which is absolutely amazing considering how difficult it is at this point in time.
So it's a winning position both on the career front as well as the healthcare front.
Absolutely, and this story illustrates the power of the community health worker apprentices. And she actually said that prior to going through the apprenticeship, she wanted to help people. That's what she's all about. But she didn't have the skills and the knowledge to be able to do this. And, and so she was so proud of what she was able to do. And the physicians and the social workers in the room were totally wowed. They said they couldn't believe that this individual who we had cared for years is now in a very safe place and a completely different place as far as his health is concerned.
Okay.
It is obvious that our labor union continues to take a pivotal role in this program. What do you see as the future?
Well, yeah, go ahead, Mr.
I was going to turn that to our union representative.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Well,
So it's actually interesting because we often have a bit of an identity crisis in my organization. We are what's called a joint labor management training fund. So I represent both 1199 SCIU and healthcare employers like Bronx Lebanon. But I think that story is a great example of the power of this registered apprenticeship model. This was a real partnership. We had funding from the New York Alliance for the Careers in Healthcare. In New York City, we worked with the CUNY School, LaGuardia Community College, and most importantly, the real partnership was with labor, 1199 SCIU, and management at Bronx Lebanon. And I think that coming together, negotiating around the process and the terms of the program enabled a stronger program for the workers and better health outcomes as well.
Very good. Now, following up on your question, Dr. Gums, I wanted to ask you, Ms. Dowler, tell us about the profile of the existing recent graduates of the program.
Definitely. We have an incredible group of apprentices from this first cohort. Charles Weston, 1199 delegate, and from the Bronx Lebanon's Department of Transportation. He was instrumental in recruiting this first cohort and finding the right people. So this group was they were passionate, they were enthusiastic, they were driven in their careers. This really was, as Dr. Reach touched on, an opportunity for them to come from their variety of backgrounds, dietary, housekeeping, patient transportation, to go into social work, to public health, to nursing, and to really bridge that gap in their careers and develop further. They are community advocates and liaisons. I think that's a really huge piece of it. They put that, the community in community health worker, and in so many ways are important for, I think, a healthcare institution to understand the community that it is in, that it comes from, and that we all are working in every day.
Well, just your enthusiasm itself is
I have a lot of passion for this project.
You can see that, and that's probably one of the keys to the success of the program.
I want to show my ignorance and ask her, you're at Bronx Lebanon?
I am, yes.
Okay.
In family medicine as well.
Oh, really? Well,
yes.
that explains it. Okay, that's good. Okay. Can you share with our viewers the academic courses that the apprentices are subjected to?
Yeah. Becky, I mean, you guys know.
Yeah.
So our apprentices, part of the beauty of registered apprenticeship is also you earn while you learn. So they were in class and working from day one. And part of the training involved approximately 170 hours of didactic classroom training. Another testament to the partnership between the union and management was that half of those classroom hours were done on work time. The other half was done on the apprentice's own time, evenings, Saturdays. But they received the instruction from LaGuardia Community College.
It's a good mix.
It's a great mix, and again, with the funding from the city, there was no out-of-pocket expense for the certificate program for the apprentices.
Now, Dr. Reach, what about the preceptors themselves, the Bronx Lebanon faculty, the doctors, and some of the other staff members? Perhaps you can share that with our viewers.
Absolutely. Courtney might want to touch on it also. We're very fortunate, of course, to have the opportunity to have the apprentices within a variety of departments. They're in obstetrics and gynecology, they're in pediatrics, population health, exactly, and population health, family medicine, and they continue to expand into other departments. So well, maybe I'll turn it to Courtney at this point. Jump on, well, I was just going to say that where they come from, I mentioned they come from a variety of backgrounds, but Where can we take this?
The faculty and how they're
I'm sorry,
trained.
yeah. So as far as the faculty is concerned, I was saying that we're fortunate that they're coming from a variety, they're working in a variety of departments, and so we have nurses involved in the education, we have physicians involved, and of course the formal faculty from CUNY, but we also have other community health workers who are functioning as the mentors.
But I noticed that this could help the patient-hospital relationship.
Absolutely. What happens, because our community health workers are from the community and they're connecting with our people, with the people from the community, our patients, they then actually create that bond and help folks be more compliant with their medication, more compliant with their visits. And as I mentioned in the case that I described at the beginning, they're also looking for services that folks need in the community, whether it's housing or education, job training, et cetera.
Okay, now I'll direct this. Okay, I'm sorry.
I
No,
was,
expand on that,
Just going
please.
to pick up on the mentorship piece. I mean, mentorship is such a crucial aspect to an apprenticeship program and really fundamental aspect. And so we knew that the mentorship was going to be a very important piece to the education component that they were receiving on the job as part of their training. But I think one thing, at least that I wasn't anticipating, was the mentorship that they received from each other. So as we said, they were all coming from a variety of departments and bringing different skill sets, bringing different experiences, and through that helped each other out. Mentored each other in those things that they had their strengths in, which was something I definitely wasn't expecting to see, and I think was a really added benefit to the mentorship component.
Now, how does this program, apprenticeship program, differ from the traditional apprenticeship program that we routinely see in the workplace?
So it's a good question. When people think of apprentices, you often think of carpenters or electricians or plumbers, right? But there's been a great expansion of registered apprenticeships and a push beginning with the Obama administration to expand apprenticeships to non-traditional industries like healthcare. And so Bronx Lebanon and 1199 SEIU are really pioneers. This is the first federally registered CHW apprenticeship in New York State. And I think it's a great model. We often use this model, but not in a formal way. And so there's not a week that goes by that I don't have calls from other employers, large systems and small, saying, how can we replicate this? What did you learn?
Exactly.
How can we learn from this?
Okay, Dr. Reach. What type of positions are the graduates assuming at Bronx Lebanon?
Well, of course,
Popular, midway, and unpopular.
and so as we described, the apprentices, the community health worker apprentices that we presently or just completed cohort 1, the first training, they all were recruited from within the institution from a variety of entry-level jobs, from transportation to, as I mentioned, dietary workers and a few other positions. And then they then become community health workers, which is absolutely a career ladder, a career pipeline, certainly. The opportunities, once they become CHWs, and by the way, Human Resources at Bronx Lebanon structured this so that indeed they come in with a GED or high school diploma or bachelor's, but once they have their bachelor's, and we do encourage that, they then can move, they get an increase in their compensation, and then the next steps are in social work or nursing.
What I see, though, is that they may start off with you, but these people are going to be incentivized to move on.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's a very good positive.
In fact, many are in school now pursuing nursing, social work, health and human services.
So what I was going to ask, Dr. Guns, you stole my
Oh,
line.
no, that was, I didn't even see that.
What I was going to ask each of you, what types of positions do you see them heading towards? Do you see them also continuing their education? And will it be just at Bronx Lebanon where they move forward, or can they go to pretty much anywhere in the city or perhaps the state or even beyond that?
I think the future is bright for all of them. As Doug had said, they come from a variety of backgrounds. Some had degrees, some didn't. They all have access to training and education benefits, tuition benefits through their fund. But I think the other additional benefit of the apprenticeship is that now they have a national credential from the U.S. Department of Labor, and so they can take that with them wherever they go.
Okay, on that note, let's pause for a short break, and when we continue our discussion, we will be placing an additional emphasis on some of the many apprenticeship success stories. Once again, we encourage you, our viewers, to utilize our website, BronxCare.org, if you have any questions or comments, since we are tonight departing from the normal call-in format.
In this age of technology, Bronx Lebanon Hospital Center is advancing computer systems to benefit its patients and the community.
What is really important is that the technology we provide is truly helping the community. And as a result, our physicians, nurses, and staff are really succeeding in optimizing patients' care and access, as well as patient safety and satisfaction.
Our staff relies on the comprehensive health information systems we have in place to expedite the registration process and make the appropriate medical decisions regarding treatment and follow-up care.
At Bronx Lebanon, highly specialized care is being provided by an expert staff using state-of-the-art technology. Bronx Lebanon surgeons are also at the forefront of advancing technology.
We certainly have cutting-edge technologies in place, but what is especially important here is that we have surgeons, nurses, and technicians who deeply care about our patients.
Bronx Lebanon's ear, nose, and throat department is also performing highly complex surgical procedures.
We are bringing all types of technological advances to our ENT patients, including the latest in facial plastic and reconstructive surgery, designed to achieve successful outcomes.
And Bronx Lebanon's orthopedic team is keeping patients moving in the right direction.
We have leveraged our own patient outcomes data as well as national studies to achieve the highest level of care in hip and knee replacements. Our spine, hand, and foot surgery, as well as sports medicine programs, continue to be of the highest caliber.
Extraordinary is the best way to describe the sight-saving surgeries performed by Bronx Lebanon's ophthalmologists.
We are using sophisticated laser and complex surgical procedures, as well as microscopic technologies to protect and restore vision.
Bronx Lebanon is also delivering exceptional services for women. Its one-stop shopping approach means easy access to a wide range of general and specialized inpatient and outpatient OB/GYN services.
We provide women in the community with a luxurious birthing spa in a state-of-the-art labor and delivery unit and comprehensive outpatient GYN services at the hospital's new Health and Wellness Center. When necessary, advanced robotic surgery and other related procedures are available.
In the ER, we see some of the most dramatic examples of Bronx Lebanon's staff and technology in action.
Our expert and experienced ER team is helping patients overcome all types of emergencies. We are effectively using high-tech equipment to monitor, track, and evaluate a patient's condition prior to making the decision to admit, discharge, or extend their observation in our recently completed 11-bay unit.
And technological advances are changing the practice of nursing.
Our nurses are fully prepared and eager to meet the challenges and benefits that technology has to offer. We are now using an electronic medical record, which is providing nurses with the time to do what they do best, provide excellent care for our patients.
Bronx Lebanon is also leading the way in anesthesiology, dentistry, family medicine, neonatology, neurosurgery, pediatrics, psychiatry, and long-term care.
Welcome back to Healthbeat. We come to you live on BronxNet every Monday evening from 6:30 to 7 p.m. For this episode, we encourage you, our viewers, to utilize our website, BronxCare.org, for any questions you may have. Now, last week, Dr. Reach and our other panelists, we had the opportunity to hear the experiences of the apprentices themselves. But I think this time would be important to hear your own experiences with the program. And I'll start with you, Dr. Reach, and we'll move right to left, excuse me.
Well, I've been in the so-called community health worker business for many, many years now. But I have to say that this, the community health worker apprenticeship was amazingly fulfilling for me. And the reason is that we took folks, again, who were at entry-level jobs, some of whom didn't see themselves in a career necessarily. They had a job. And yet, when the opportunity was presented to them to become community health workers and go through the apprenticeship, to a person, every single one has said, this is phenomenal. I can see myself building and growing and developing over the next, not just months, but years. So for me, I think it's fantastic. It's motivated me also to look at our community at large and say, what can we do for jobs and careers for people out there that are right now underemployed?
Right. Ms. Dow, what about you in terms of your
My
experiences?
Well, I think I really have two takeaways after this first cohort of the apprenticeship. The first is really seeing them from when they started to their graduation day and the work that they're doing now. I mean, they have been able to now take a course of action for a patient and implement it and become natural leaders with the patients, which was really inspiring to see from their first day where they had those nerves and everything like that. And then second for me is really that they have given me a better idea of my role, my responsibility, and my purpose in this community, as they are community health workers and have taught me a lot of what I need to do for the community.
And Ms. Hall?
Tough acts to follow. I think this program's motivated me as an individual as well, and I've worked in workforce development for many years on countless programs, and the group of apprentices, the group of labor and management stakeholders is just incredible. The collaboration, the effort, and the hard work that everyone put into it, and just the work that the CHWs do is so important and critical. So I take a lot of pride in having a small part in this program.
Okay. Dr. Gums?
I have a little information. I think that this program is going to help the quality of care and the kindness of patient care. Yesterday, I got an experience with that. One of the people working in your program was a little upset at the care that the patient was getting in the hospital. And I think I calmed them down a little bit because it takes time to be able to attack those people. But that is an area where they're very, very personal and taking care of things.
Well, and I think that's what all of us have touched on, that in fact the community health workers become incredible advocates for the patients, and they do take it very personally. And we've seen that in each and every one of them, that they embrace the concept of what can I do to help someone, and it's really, really very, very powerful.
The student was crying.
Yeah.
Now, what does the future hold for this program?
Oh, it truly is. It truly is fantastic. It's a great program, and so we're starting the next cohort in the next few weeks, actually, and then we already are planning a third cohort. So it not only is phenomenal for people that are employed already at Bronx Lebanon, but it gives the opportunity for people from the community to rise up and find job opportunities at Bronx Lebanon that will actually lead to positions as community health workers. So I think, and Becky touched on it, I mean, the opportunities this is going to spread to other institutions.
What are some of the success stories that you'd like to share with our viewers? And I'll start with you, Ms. Hall, in this program. Sorry to put you on the spot.
It's okay. You saved the toughest for last. I think each and every one of those CHW apprentices or journey people now is a success story in and of themselves. And as Doug said, the beauty of this model is that when you take incumbent workers and they're able to advance in their career pathway, you're giving them a pathway, but also their jobs are opening up as well to others in the community. So that in and of itself is a success story.
And Ms. Dower, what about some success stories that you can share with us?
Well, I second what Becky is saying, and I think that the patient's feedback that I hear really speaks to that. So I talked to one patient who now follows with one of our CHWs, and he was saying that he's been through caseworkers and he's been through, care management and all that. And up until he started working with this particular CHW, he had never felt cared for. He had never felt like he was really being heard and had someone working and advocating for him. And I think that's especially important for our patients, especially from the communities of HIV, hepatitis, diabetes, who are so often beaten down by the healthcare system and have a distrust in the healthcare system, to have someone that they feel that trust in and can bridge that gap, especially with who they receive their care from.
And Dr. Reach?
Well, maybe I can finish with a story because I love stories. So it's the recently 1199, the union actually had a graduation, and they brought together all of the graduates from all of their different programs. Over, I think there are 400 people in the room. 800, I beg your pardon. One of the CHW apprentices got up in front of that entire group and made a presentation. Afterwards, she came, gave all of us hugs, and she said, 6 months ago, she never could have done this. And there she was, I mean, presenting and telling her life story and the value of the CHW apprenticeship.
And not a dry eye in the house.
Yeah.
Outcomes are certainly important, Dr. Reach. Can you expand on the health outcomes that you expect?
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
you sort of did it already,
And
but yeah.
Courtney just touched on, some of the diseases that we're focusing on: HIV, hepatitis C, hepatitis B, and diabetes, common chronic illnesses. And we expect to see hospitalization as a result of this program to decrease, emergency room utilization decrease, utilization of the outpatient to increase, and then things such as, the hemoglobin A1C for diabetics, it's going to improve. And we've already been showing this. So people more compliant with taking their medication. So
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
the outcomes are really going to be powerful.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. In the time remaining, what is the profile of the next class that's going to be joining this apprenticeship
Well,
program?
it's not too dissimilar to what we saw in the first group. People coming from a wide variety of backgrounds, but representing our communities, working in the hospital, right? Again, we've said this several times, but in dietary, in transportation, in security, and entry-level nursing positions, and medical assistants, for example, and registrars. And they're coming to the table and really ready to take on the challenge of going through this apprenticeship.
And did you expand the program, or you kept it at the same size for now?
It's about the same size, right? It's about the same size. And we've actually found educating 15 people, small group teaching, especially for adults, works so well. So, yeah.
Okay, on that note, let me thank you, Dr. Reach. Let me thank you, Ms. Dower. And let me thank you, Ms. Hall, for joining with Dr. Gums and myself on tonight's Healthbeat television program. And most importantly, let me thank you, our viewers, for tuning in this evening.
If any of our viewers have questions or need assistance, I encourage you to call our physician referral service by dialing 718-99-BRONX. That is 718-992.
7669.
Should have read it from here. Okay.
Or you can refer to our website, once again, at bronxcare.org. Good night, and we'll see you in the near future.